All right, coaches. Hey, sorry we're a little bit late. We've had a little technical difficulty this morning, but we've got it ironed out. We've got three of the best coaches in the entire network on today, and I'm going to introduce them, and then we're going to jump into what we're calling an Elite 10 panel. Last week, Arnaud did numbers 10, 9, and 8, and today he did 10, 9, 8, and I'm doing 7, 6, 5. I don't know what I'm doing. I never know what I'm doing. All right, we're good. I'm going to introduce our speakers and we're going to go. So what we've got is we've got three outstanding presenters today. Our first presenter is an 8-time top 10 elite coach. She's a 10-time elite coach. There's only 2 coaches in the entire network that have hit elite 10 times. She's a superstar 2 diamond coach, superstar in 2 business centers. She's hit Success Club for 121 consecutive months. Guys, that's over 10 years. She joined Team Beachbody in June of 2008, and she's from Melissa, Texas. Our first presenter will be Melissa McAllister. Our second presenter is a 2-time top 10 elite coach. She is a superstar diamond coach, 71 consecutive months in Success Club. Joined Team Beachbody in November 2013 from Warrensburg, Missouri, Emily Fauver. Woohoo, Emily. And our next presenter is she's the 4-time top coach of the year, 7-time top 10 elite coach, 8-time elite coach, a superstar 3 diamond coach, which means she's a superstar in 3 different business centers. 2017 CEO Award recipient. She's hit Success Club 104 consecutive months. Joined Beachbody in July of 2011 from Mars, Pennsylvania, Melanie, Mitro. So guys, love that you're here. We've got a bunch of questions we had submitted on the champions page. And so we're just going to jump in and we'll start easy and we'll kind of try and get through this, but there are a bunch of questions these guys wanted of you guys. So we'll go one at a time, but let's just start it simple. What is your favorite personal development book? And why don't we start Emily, then Melissa, then Melanie?
I think my favorite one is probably You Are a Badass because it's tough love. And then Gary Vee, anything he puts out on social media, I'm obsessed with because he's also tough love. And speaks to me.
Perfect. Melissa.
I actually have it right here. It's called Changemaker from Dr. John Berardi. That I think is a really good book because it just helps you be a better coach. That helps you speak to people and learn how to help them in the way that they need to be helped and how to have a successful online business. So that's a good one.
Cool. Melanie.
I have 2. So I would say whenever I was trying to get myself hyped up and my team hyped, the 10X rule is a really good audio to listen to. And then my favorite leadership would be Dare to Lead by Brene Brown.
Cool. Awesome. All right, let's keep going. Emily, we'll start with you. Why did you make the decision to build the business as a coach?
Well, I moved to a new town as a military spouse. We'd just gotten married and I had gotten my degree in communications, and then we moved to the tiniest town in Texas and I couldn't use my degree there. And so I decided to try Beachbody, and my coach told me, if you want to be successful, you're going to hit Success Club every month. That was the first goal she gave me. So I just hit Success Club every month. But some of you probably know my story. That's all I did for like 2-3 years, just hit Success Club, which is amazing, but it didn't really get me super far because I was not working to my fullest potential. And so what made me really go all in was when my husband was like, hey, if you don't bring in a little bit more income, you're going to have to get a full-time job when we move to our next space where there's more opportunity. And I did not like that because I had this vision of staying home with my future baby and, being home when my husband had the, random lunch break because he's in the military. So I don't see him a lot. I had all these big visions and goals, and that is what made me push and work really hard, being able to stay home and just be home with my family.
Awesome. Melissa, why did you make the decision to build?
Community. All of my friends were becoming coaches and I didn't want to be left out. So it honestly wasn't for the income in the beginning, and it wasn't for my own personal transformation. It was because I love the community. And I always want to tell you guys, don't discount somebody who you think maybe their spouse is making a good living, or they're making a good living, or they're already in shape, that they wouldn't want to be a coach, because there's nothing like this community. So grateful for it. And it was the number one reason why I got into it, and the number one reason why I pushed to be good at it, was just to stick with my community.
Awesome. Melanie.
I'm like trying to rewind the time. So I think, I mean, when I first started coaching, it was more or less, I had such a good transformation and loved the community of the challenge groups that I wanted to help other women feel the same way. So it was very much, I came in wanting to help just a few people, but I had no idea what was possible with the business until I started getting on team calls and listening to national wake up calls. And then all of a sudden, something was just unlocked within me that was like, I could have more out of my life. This business could create, the ability to travel and take a vacation and buy a bigger house and, get out of our little tiny townhouse that we were living in. And so for me, it came in as kind of the fitness and helping one person. And then my eyes were really open to what was possible. And so that's really, like, listening to calls like this is what made me really start to level up.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, Melissa, let's jump to you on what are your daily non-negotiables for your business?
The normal, obviously, working out and eating right, drinking my Shakeology. But one of the things that I guess I attest to, having a strong following and being able to always have a full funnel, always having people to talk to, is I'm really, really good at just talking to people on social media. I don't just post. I always like, and if it's applicable, I will comment on their post. If they message me, hopefully you guys in the Champions page, if you've messaged me, I have answered you pretty promptly too. So that's a really important non-negotiable for me. It's for people, no matter they're on another team, they're not interested in Beachbody or anything at that time, that I've got that reputation of responding and caring no matter what. So that's a non-negotiable for me, is to always have my message folders empty by the end of the day and to respond to any and everybody that's reached out to me.
Awesome. Love it. Melanie, what are your daily non-negotiables?
Definitely content. So it's definitely putting out valuable content that engages my audience on a daily basis. That's always number one. That's just really adding value, because I know that's what's bringing new people to me. The second thing is filling the funnel. Like Melissa said, it's that engagement. So making sure that I have messages in my inbox every single day, and that I am also going out there and starting new conversations. And then I would say too, just making sure that I have really good customer service. So that comes back to making sure that my challenger messages are answered, my team messages are answered every single day. And that I'm just treating this like a business, so every single day I'm making sure that my tracker is done and I can go to bed saying, like, I did all of the things that actually move my business forward, and I feel good about that.
Awesome. So Emily, I'm going to take it. There's another question that came up, and you're a brand new mom. So the question is, how do you set your schedule when you're working your business? How do you handle your business as a mom? Like, how do you spend time wisely?
Yeah, so I've had to master this past year, because the first 9 months of Ella's life, I didn't have any help with her during the day. It was just me and her, and my husband works full time. And something that's really, really helped me is every night before bed, in my notes on my phone, when I have my brain to myself, because as a mom, you don't all day, I will write down everything I need to do the next day in the notes on my phone. So anything from put dinner in the crock pot in the morning, to send my invites, to make sure you post about this, post this in your team page kind of thing. That is all in there. And then the next morning I have if Dylan's home that night, I'll work when she goes to bed. Or if I have help for a few hours, that is the list I work on. So that way I'm not just sitting down and going, oh, I know I had a lot to do, but now I can't remember. I have that list and I just check things off and make sure that I don't go to bed until everything is deleted off of that notes. And that helps me stay so organized and really productive.
Awesome. Melanie, I've seen you train on this. Do you do anything different as far as, your time management and with the family and the kids?
it keeps changing every season we go through, as my kids get older, because they started when they were Ella's age, they were itty bitty. And so I just think it is being disciplined to create some sort of schedule for yourself. So I look at my life right now, Landon and Bryce are not in school and they're home. And so I've kind of reverted back to the to-do list that says at the end of the day, these are the most important things that I need to get done. And sometimes that changes on a daily basis, depending on what I'm marketing for. And I just use either a piece of paper or my iPad, because in the notes section, you can just check off the box. I make a to-do list every morning. I just say, these are the things that are the most important. And it is just being disciplined to get it done and finding the time. So like when I talk about this, it is, okay, I really want to watch that Netflix special, but I'm going to make that my reward. So I'm going to crush it for the next 30 minutes and I'm not going to get lost in the scroll so that I can watch that Netflix thing that I want to watch. So if you just create little hacks for yourself and your own little rewards, you can kind of make yourself more productive and still have fun, but still grow your business too.
Awesome. Love it. Okay. So this is a question that it tends to come up often, but I'm not sure, which one of you is best to answer it. So feel free, someone to jump in. How did you get your spouse on board? That is, if they weren't into Beachbody when you started. I don't know who's got the best answer to that.
I'll share really quick. Mine's
Sure.
quick. But my husband was always supportive, but he also was always really hard on me because he saw the potential I had. And so that was always hard in the beginning because I didn't know what he wanted. He just wanted me to work to, my fullest potential. And Julie Voris said something to me a couple years ago on one of my team calls. She said, if you want your spouse to support this business, then make some money. And that sounds so silly, but that made me work really hard because that is what drives a lot of spouses. They want to see the work being paid off in a different way, not just recognition and stuff. They want to see it in their bank account, something that's tangible. So that helped a lot. And that just motivated me just to push and make goals pay for the car payment, cover the groceries, cover the house payment. Cause I knew that was visible to him and he could actually see the success.
Awesome. Melissa, was Mick always on board?
A lot like Emily, he wasn't unsupportive. He thought it was silly. He didn't think anything would come of it. But he always tells my team that you also, besides the income, he agrees with that, you also have to show your spouse that you're having fun and that you're enjoying this. If you're constantly going to your spouse complaining about the workload or you having a customer that quit or anything like that, then they're going to be like, why the hell are you doing this? But if you remind your spouse that this serves your purpose, you're having a great time doing this, they'll be way more supportive. So just be real careful what you share with the spouse in the beginning if they're not super supportive.
And Melanie, with Matt?
Yeah, Matt was not supportive at all. He kind of went out of his way to make it difficult for me at the beginning. But I will agree with what Emily said. I knew that he's very financially driven, and so if I wanted his buy-in, I couldn't just go into the spare room and sit there and play on my phone. I had to show him the money, and because it was changing our whole lives. He was now having to do bedtime routine where that was always kind of my thing before. So if I wanted his buy-in, I needed to meet him halfway. But I will say a turning point for us was him actually coming to Summit. And I didn't just take him to Summit. I sort of took him to Summit and then introduced him to all the other husbands. And Matt's very social. And so he started to make friends. And as he was talking to the other husbands, he realized, oh, your wife's on her phone. And oh, your wife does this. Oh, mine too. And so it was this commonality of what they were going through, but also it was the other spouses saying, wow, your wife is crushing it. My wife talks about her all the time. You should be so proud of her. And it was all these little seeds that were kind of planted, and then him hearing Carl speak that really got him to just let his guard down a little bit. And so I always say, bring your spouse to events, get them to understand the business behind what you're doing, because they just see it from you at the computer screen at home. Let them see it for the company that it is. I think that makes a big difference.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay. So we're going to jump into now building the business. You know, we've got a whole section of questions that are around attracting, finding, and inviting. And I know, you know, each of these questions could literally be an hour training. So we're going to have to, you know, try and answer them as best we can in the moments we have. So here we go. We'll start, Emily. How do you grow your following? And really the question is, what do you tell your coaches that have low following on how to grow?
Okay, so I feel like for me, and I know people hate this, but like consistency, showing up every single day on social media, on my stories and in people's timelines. The way I explain it to my coaches, I'm like, your Instagram is your storefront. If you're not posting, your store's closed. So why is someone going to go to you over someone that store's wide open like Melanie's, right? So you need to make sure that your store's open and that they know that there's something there that you can offer them. And so that is huge for growing my following. Using all of Instagram stories, like their little things, their stickers really helps whenever I do like a question party or a poll, my following grows because Instagram likes that. They like when you use their stuff. And another thing is I team up with other people on Instagram, not Beachbody or fitness related, just people I've become friends with. And we do fun giveaways. That has helped a lot with my following. I just discovered that probably 6 months ago. It's really hard to find people in the beginning, but that's worked. But I think just like consistency and, you know, finding other people on the app to do stuff with.
Okay, so Melissa, the next question, and you can kind of answer the first one as we go through these, but how did you get people to join you, or how do you get people to join you when you don't yet have a transformation?
I always share, especially with my new coaches, that I think Danielle and I always share the sentiment that someone is going to find you so much more relatable if they can jump on the bandwagon with you during your transformation, as opposed to somebody who's already arrived and they're already fit. That's fantastic, but and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, if I was starting that journey, I would want someone that was honestly just a few steps ahead of me. I tell my coaches all the time, all you have to be is one workout, one solid meal, one personal development book, and even just one thought ahead of somebody who needs help. You don't have to be years ahead of them, just a little tiny bit ahead of them to be able to help them and to reach your hand out and say, I'm right here. I'm a little bit ahead of you, but I'm close enough that I can still reach your hand and help you. So I don't think that you have to reach a destination in order to be able to help other people. I think you're underselling yourself, because as you're going through that journey, you're going to be able to help somebody more than once you've arrived. Because honestly, I mean, Melanie just said, let me think all the way back when I started. You kind of forget what it was like when you were on that journey in the beginning, as opposed to being in it at the moment to be able to help somebody else.
Awesome. Love it. So Mel, the question for you is, how do you set yourself apart on social media, and what's the best way to drive interest?
Oh God, that's a good question. Okay. So this is really, I think, the hardest thing for coaches to do, is because I think for starters, first thing you can do is stop watching what everybody else is doing. Because when you start watching what every other coach is out there is doing, you start to think you have to be just like them in order to be successful. And so I would say stop following, but get out a sheet of paper and even brainstorm and say, what do I love about the business? What do I love about health and fitness? Because we all come at this from our own angle. So, when I started coaching, I had 2 small kids at home. So it was getting my body back after having kids, but it was also nutrition. People would come to my page because I would consistently share meal prep and planning tips and grocery store and, healthy recipes for kids and accountability and motivation. But I had a different spin on it. It was just this mom life with little kids. Whereas somebody else might have a really strong faith, and you work your faith into everything that you post about. And so you have to put blinders on and say, what do I love? What angle do I bring to the table? And how do I become more than just a Beachbody coach, right? I'm not just somebody that works out and eats healthy, but I also love fashion. I also love, faith. I also love, other things. And so you have to really look at your social media and standing out. Like, this is your brand, this is your voice, and what makes you unique and different versus, the person down the street. And so it's kind of digging in and making a list of all the things that make you unique and posting about those things consistently throughout the week.
Love it. Awesome. So, okay, Emily, what's your favorite initial invite when connecting with a stranger on Facebook or Instagram?
I always go to their page and make sure that I know who they are before I invite them, because I feel like that's the worst thing ever is if you get an invite and maybe they're already in multi-level marketing or something. So I find something about them and usually compliment. I realize, people love compliments, and I try not even to talk about the business at first. Because I invite mostly to the business, but I try not to mention the business at all, compliment them. And that's basically, and then we start conversations from there.
So Melissa, it's really the same question. What do your conversations with people look like?
Well, for me, it's pretty much what Melanie was saying. Is I've tried really hard to have a niche, however you want to say it, and I spend a lot of time on my social media helping people, educating people, and solving a problem. And so if I'm putting information out there that arises questions for people, that's normally my inbox is pretty active. And so for me, it's not a lot of reaching out to people myself. It's because I've put something out there in my stories or in my posts that gets someone thinking to where they want to ask me a question, and we just have an organic conversation from there. And sometimes it leads to me inviting them to the business or inviting them to a challenge group, and other times it's glad I could help you. See you later.
Okay, awesome. So Mel, I'm going to change the subject a little bit. So right now there's a lot of coaches that are emeralds that are hitting Success Club and they're getting leads. What do you send out to your customer leads?
All right, so I just have an email snippet that I saved. You can just type it up and save it. But I basically want people to know that I am not spamming them. That's kind of the first thing. And that I'm a real human. So when I send them an email, I'm basically saying, hey, so-and-so, my name is Melanie Mitro. I am your assigned Beachbody coach. I was assigned to you because you either signed up for a free account or you purchased something from Team Beachbody. I'm a real human. I have 2 boys, Landon and Bryce. Like, I tell a little bit of my story, and I say, I've been coaching for 9 years. I lost 30 pounds with this program. I say, you can check me out on Instagram and Facebook. Here's my URL. Like, I want you to know I'm a human, and my job is to help you start and finish the fitness program that you came to Beachbody for and help you get results. And I'd love to get to know you. And I would love to connect you to one of my online accountability groups. And I usually will kind of list which groups that I have. And then I just ask a question like, what made you decide to sign up with Beachbody? What program are you doing? What are some of your health and fitness goals? Can't wait to hear from you. Done.
Okay. And if you don't hear back from them,
so I add them to, I have like an email list that I keep every time I get a new lead. I just go into my back office once a week, and if there's any new leads, I add them to the list, send them a personalized email. And then anytime I'm doing a challenge group, or I do send out kind of a monthly newsletter with, hey, what's your coach offering? They are on that list. So they're getting at least a monthly email from me at that point moving forward.
Awesome. Love it. Okay. So Emily, when you started your business, did you focus on a customer base before growing, or did you offer coaching to everyone, even if they are just a discount coach?
For the first few months, it was just like customer only. And then I think Daniel Natoni was like, no, you need to get coaches and discount coaches, tell people about the discount. So I want to say it was maybe like 6 months in, then I started seeing the value, because I was a discount coach. A lot of people don't know that. And so I'm like, never discount a discount coach. And so from 6 months on, probably.
Never discount a discount coach. That's awesome. Melissa, when do you present the business opportunity of being a coach?
That's a great question. And I actually do two things. I really started in my groups because I will still have coach and customer. I still just don't believe some people are ready for that commitment of being a coach. And so they'll come in as a customer. But in my challenge groups twice a week, I actually have business posts. So I tell my customers, I have brand new coaches in here as well. And so if you're not interested in being a coach, I'm going to put at the very top of this post, coach post. So just ignore it. Don't read it. Don't pay attention to it. And they're kind of assignments really showing how easy it is to be a coach and how fun it is to connect with other people. And so it kind of works in the way that these customers won't ignore that coach post. And they're like, oh, this coaching thing doesn't look so bad. It doesn't look so hard. And so it helps me organically and naturally have people that are in my challenge groups as customers ask me about being a coach. And then always at the end of those challenge groups, I always give a heartfelt, I think you would make a wonderful coach if you made it to the end of this group and you saw results and you have people asking you, I'd love to share the coaching side of this as well. So that's what I do.
Awesome. Love it. Okay. So Mel, this is an interesting one. So it says, if a person wants to sign up as a coach for the discount, how do you explain the business service fee?
Oh, that's an easy one. Okay, so I just say that there is a $16.95, membership fee to sign up as a coach, and I literally call it a membership fee. That's all I say, and I say your 25% discount. I mean, if you're buying product every month, it's paying for itself. And I say, if at any point in time you don't want the coach discount anymore, you can downgrade back to a regular customer and there's no penalties, fees, or questions asked.
Awesome. Perfect. Okay, so we'll keep going. Emily, so now we're going to jump into getting coaches started. Okay, so this is you guys mentoring your new coaches to get into to building their businesses. So Emily, what is the process when a new coach signs up on your team? Like, how do you support them?
Well, I do a mentorship every other month. And so I usually look for like 15 to 20 girls that want to run. And when they first sign up, I send them an email that's simple. I don't put a lot of words in it because I know I get overwhelmed and I don't like to sit there and read about every goal I should have in the business. And so I just tell them, I put in there our university training that they can do, both team pages, tell them about the team call. And at the end, I say, your first goal is to help 3 people sign up with what you just did. So I don't go into like challenge packs or anything crazy. I just let them know how, like, it sounds easy. Once they finish the training, we get on a one-on-one call. If they're part of a mentorship, everyone gets put in, all 15, 20 girls get put into a group text strand with me. And I text in there almost every single day, shouting people out for hitting goals. If I have a random Thursday afternoon open, hey, do you guys want to hop on a Zoom call and like answer some questions, that kind of thing. And then I also, throughout the month, I have it scheduled to where like I'll run a sneak peek the first week of the month. The second Tuesday is my Get Started Right call. The third Tuesday is my Emerald Push call. And then the fourth Tuesday is Diamond Push. So it's like in order so that they know, I'll know everything about the business. Then I want to hit Emerald, then I want to hit Diamond, kind of thing.
Cool. Melissa, what's your new coach mentorship look like?
Membership, what am I missing out on? Extra stream of income. The first thing I do is I find out if they want to walk, jog, or sprint with this business, because I don't want to push them too hard if they're not ready for that. And I also want to be there to push them hard if they're ready. So I find out where they are, how hard they want to push. Of course, I do getting started right with them, and they get put into our big team page, which can be a little bit overwhelming. So I also have a newer coach page where it gives them the opportunity to ask kind of more of the elementary questions that they need to ask, that they won't be intimidated to ask in the big group. And they can team up and partner up with other newer coaches to work together. And we also have a university that we put them through. And I make message threads as well to help them reach small goals, depending on what that goal is.
Okay. And Mel, you know, literally there's 3 or 4 questions that were in this. So I am going to ask you the same question. But one of the questions was, what's the most successful way to onboard a new coach?
Okay. Keep it simple. I think for sure it's something I've learned over the years. I've done everything from overwhelmed my new coaches to tried to make them too independent, and then that backfired. So it's kind of like finding your sweet spot in the middle. So I send a welcome email, and I do try to figure out if they are more on the challenge group side, or do they want to come into the business, kind of that walk, run, jog thing that Melissa kind of went through too. And then I will get them into the challenge group. And then I don't even add them into the team page or anything yet. I walk them through getting started. So I'm like, okay, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to launch your business. And so I walk them through making their first post. And then if they do that, actually have them send it to me. I read it, have them post it. And then I say, okay, you're going to start inviting. And then I tell them how to start inviting. And if they do those 2 things, I'm like, I'm going to add you to my new coach pod. And then I add them to my new coach pod. So at that point, I'm like, you've shown me enough initiative that you actually are serious. I'm going to add you to the other girls that are in their new coach month. And then every Wednesday at 12 noon, we do a coach mentorship call. And it just recycles every month. You know, the first Monday of every month the first Wednesday of every month is the kickoff. And then every Wednesday at noon is like call 1, call 2, call 3. And we just talk about stuff they need to know in their first month: inviting, consistency, following up, starting a challenge group. And we keep it really simple, and that works really well.
Awesome. Love it. Okay. So Emily, as a brand new coach, what is the most important area to focus on as you start building your team?
Like getting results. I mean, is that what you're kind of looking for? I always well, that's what I tell my new coaches.
Yeah.
Your number one job is to take care of you and get results and show people how amazing this is. And then in result, you're going to help people hit Success Club. So like getting results in Success Club.
Okay. Awesome. Love it. So then, Melissa, what would you say, you know, now let's say they're starting to build a team, and let's talk about the team aspect. You know, is there something different they should be doing with, you know, how they mentor their personally sponsored coaches as a newer coach?
I think that they need to, that the first level of leadership, in my opinion, is that accountability. So if they're starting to bring coaches on themselves, they will help them with their own fitness journey. They can help them, you know, get through a personal development book. They can help them by auditing their social media. So it's that accountability of being there for them and, you know, patting them on the back when they do really well. But if, you know, maybe their pictures on Instagram are really dark and grainy, to be that person to say, hey, you know, we need to brighten up your pictures a little bit. It's a visual platform, those kind of things. So being that accountability piece to help those newer coaches that they brought on to hit those first few goals is huge.
Cool. So Mel, how often do you follow up with new coaches who want to work the business versus discount coaches after they sign up?
A new coach. So I always have sort of a list of who has signed up, right? And so once a week, I will go just through that list and say, who haven't I heard from this week? And I'll reach out with just a very simple, how are you doing? What can I help you with? And I just kind of break if I don't hear from them, some are fine and message in that group message thread, and we have a constant conversation. But I just want those new coaches that are having a hard time getting started to know that I haven't forgot about them. So Fridays is usually my day. Like, it's my day to go through my list, check in with everybody. It's kind of like the start to the new week. And then a discount coach, I'm supporting them in the challenge group. So I'm reaching out to them just like I do all my other challengers. So I'm touching base with them in the challenge group. Again, I kind of do a weekly email message to my challengers just to kind of check in too. So.
Okay. I think this is an interesting question that came in. So Emily, we'll start it with you, but many people need income right now. What do you teach about the compensation plan to your new coaches?
Wow, that's deep. I think It's hard to say. Like, I mean, I talk about Emerald and like the cycle bonuses and stuff because I wanted them to know that they don't want to work for commission forever. And that's why I really talk about Emerald a lot right away. And then I don't know if I just specifically teach about one thing, but I lately have shifted to where in my team page, I'm talking about more of like, what did your paycheck do for you this week? You know, even if it's just groceries, because that's how I started. Or congratulations to these 2 5-star diamonds that got this bonus. Because a lot of people think that, I mean, they don't even, like new coaches don't even know what's past Emerald and Diamond. So, you know, those are the things I've been trying to do more recognition around income to show people what's possible versus just Success Club and signing coaches. I know seeing the potential that, like, I've seen the potential from watching Ashley and Danielle over the years. So,
yeah. Okay. So Melissa, same question. What do you teach about the comp plan to your new coaches?
I have to give a shout out to Steven, as him and I geek out about this all the time. But I think it's really important for them to understand kind of where they are in your genealogy, because it does make a difference on if they have a power leg or not. And, you know, I'm always proud to say that I was on a dead leg. So if I have a coach that doesn't have a power leg, I'm like, you're going to be okay. But because how they grow, I think depends on whether or not that volume is being fed on one leg. So that's just one of the first things that I go through, so they understand that, because if they're building both legs, then I'm going to have them flip flop back and forth when they add coaches, versus I'm going to have them really load the weak leg first to make some cycle bonuses. So that's usually the first thing we talk about.
All right, Mel, same question.
As a brand new coach, I am definitely in the first 30 days talking to them about hitting Success Club, and I'm talking to them about getting to Emerald. But I'm honest with them about, you know, you're the easiest way when you first come in, and it too depends on how much the person gets right away, kind of gets the concept of the compensation plan to how in depth I go. So if I'm going to keep it basic, it is your first way to make money is to sell stuff. So it's going to be through your challenge pack sales. It is Beachbody On Demand member. I mean, it's anything. Like if you're talking to somebody, remember every single thing is commissionable. So if you want to earn income, these are all the ways you can earn it. And then I start to say your first rank advancement is Emerald. That means you sign up your first 2 people. It unlocks the compensation plan. But really, if you want to see that exponential growth, it's when you're starting to add people to your team that want to do what you do, that want to create income. So I talk to them about the importance of working coaches too, and people that want to do this alongside of you, so that they have an honest, like, they understand that it's not just about signing up a million coaches is what's going to really make you the money. I talk about the why behind it and understanding how that works.
Okay. And do you get into like the actual numbers of sell a challenge pack, get $50? Like, are you breaking it down like to that detail?
No, I don't break it down to that detail, but I always refer them back to, it's like in the forms and documents, it's that thing that breaks, I forget what the name of the document is, but it shows them what they get commission for. And I say, if you want to back yourself into this amount of money, go look at that. Know what you're getting your commissions from, and that'll help you. That'll help you understand a little bit more.
Awesome. Love it. Okay. So let's jump off that. Emily, what is your follow-up process when a new customer joins your team?
Everything is in my challenge groups. I'll always respond to like their emails and stuff, but I have quite a bit of challengers, so it's hard for me to go through and check in with each and every one. But I mean, I'm posting in that challenge group multiple times a day and responding in there, and I let them know. And once they sign up, I'm like, this is where you're going to find me. This is where you're going to get my quickest answer, but feel free to reach out anytime.
Awesome. Love it. So Melissa, we'll jump to this because we're going to now go into questions about running your ongoing business. But as a new coach, do I start my own challenge group and coaching mentor page with my own team name or or in the beginning, just add new coaches until I get a larger clientele?
I think, that's very individual. You know, we're going to bring in people that are already fitness professionals that are ready to start a challenge group because they've probably already been in that arena for a while. And then you're going to bring in people who are just starting their own journey and are nervous about that. So that's when you, as their upline, will offer for them to come in. For me personally, if I have coaches or discount coaches or customers, they're always welcome in my challenge groups as long as they want. Working coaches, I'm a little bit more strict. The first month, I want them in there because I want them to see what's caused me to be so successful, which I attested to challenge groups. So the first month, they can be in there. The second month, they can be in there again, but this time they got to bring people. And then the third month, I want them to partner with other coaches that kind of join the same time that they did and to run them together as a group, which I'm more than happy to be in and to monitor and help if they feel stuck or there's not a lot of interaction. But I kind of want to kick them out of the nest if they really want to build this business about 3 months in.
Awesome. Okay, so Mel, let's jump into challenge groups. Let's talk about what you do and then what you teach your new coaches to do. And the first question is, how often do you start and run a new challenge group?
I run a new challenge group every single month. So, and then on a launch month, so when 10 rounds came out, I was running my regular general challenge group and then also a 10 rounds group. So without fail, every single month I start a new group so that I always have something that I'm inviting to. Was there a part 2 to that question?
No, I mean,
that was it. Okay.
More about that. Yeah. So we're going to be on challenge groups for a minute here. There's a bunch about this. So then, Emily, do you just run one group or do you run multiple groups at a time?
It always depends on like the amount of people that are wanting to join. And I feel like it becomes obvious to me, like, okay, Emily, it's time to start a new group. But like I'm 15 days into an 80-day obsession group and there's 400 people. So I'm like, okay, now we need a new group, right? So the new group will start. I always do like a month because I want these people to have a ton of time to get their packages and read over the material. You know, don't just give yourself a week to add people, like give yourself some time. And then, yeah, so probably 2 or 3 a month.
2 or 3 different groups a month.
I just go off of what people want. So these 2 will be 80-day obsession, and then I'll probably do like a multi-program because I'm getting some people that are wanting to do other programs. But I just listen to them, what they want.
And how often do programs end? Because it seems like if you're adding 2 or 3 a month, are they ending 2 or 3 a month or?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I mean, it depends on what program too, you know, like 80 days a lot longer. So yeah.
Okay. So Mel, I'm going to jump back to you. Do you run a long, like a forever group and then a whole bunch of, shorter groups, or how does it work that way?
The forever groups don't work very well for me for whatever reason. I lose momentum in there. So, because I tried to have one group where I just change the banner every month and do something different. So I do start and stop. So I'll open up a new group with a new theme, with a new, and add everybody into that group, and change it up. And then sometimes for the most part, unless it's a program launch, mine are general groups. So right now I have a 10 rounds group going, and then I have my general group. And then I got so many leads that were guys this month and last month that I said to Matt, I was like, can we run a co-ed group? So I added that to the mix because I wanted to support these people. So it's kind of like Emily, I do kind of the same thing. I'm just listening to what the needs are of my people and then adjusting. So I always have groups starting, I always have things closing. It's kind of always ebbing and flowing.
Okay. And Melissa, what do you do with groups? How do you run your challenge groups?
My groups, a brand new one every single month. I try to theme them, and it's normally something that's got to do with personal development. So I will talk about, the fitness and nutrition, but also maybe your mindset or, helping build your confidence. So each one kind of has a theme. They used to be 5 weeks, but I kind of got sick of them overlapping because that week where there was 2 that were overlapping, one was finishing, one was starting, it got challenging in my head. And so instead now I created a PDF, which was their prep week. And now when they sign up, because maybe I'll have somebody sign up next week, but my next group isn't going to start until June. They have that PDF to kind of prepare themselves for the actual group. So it's things like upping their hydration, working on trying to find ways to sleep better, because there's so much more than just exercise and Shakeology. I really want them to change lifestyle habits. And so that PDF helps them get ready to really be prepared for the group. So my group's for 4 weeks, and they start the very first Monday through the month, and then they finish at the end of the month to have me be prepared to start the new one.
Okay. All right, we're starting to run out of time, so we're going to have to go quick. Let's bounce through these. Top tips for converting challengers to coaches. Emily.
So something that one of my coaches in my downline actually came up with, which has been amazing, is she does a friend referral. So we post it in the challenge group. It's an image and saying, hey, if you refer a friend, you get a $50 bonus or whatever, how much it is for that challenge pack. And so that gets people like interested in, like, oh, I just have, like, I'm seeing results and I love it. I just have to share and I can like invite my friend. That has gone really well. And then also in my challenge groups, I'll do, like, I'm doing a webinar this Sunday. So I'll say, hey, you guys want to hop on, feel free. And then I'll pick out people that are killing it, like people that are showing up every single day in the group. Like, it's obvious, and I'll message them and ask them.
Awesome. So obviously BOD Groups is launched, and if coaches that are on this want to go look it up, if they don't know about it, you should. I mean, it's everywhere, but it's FAQ 7408. But I just want to, we're hearing more and more about coaches that are getting started feeling more confident and more professional, because now they have this, it's not Facebook anymore. Now you go to Beachbody to do a group. Mel, have you had any experience so far with your newer coaches in BOD Groups?
Oh gosh. I mean, well, it just started on Sunday, so we just rolled it out. And I was kind of using this week. I got my first group set up. Everybody's been inviting to it. We just sat down and talked about our plan for May, and I challenged everybody to start a BOD group. I mean, for me, I give my coaches 2 options. They can either add their people into mine and we can co-run it together, or they can do their own thing. So I feel like everybody's excited and everybody's willing to try. I think it's like we're trying to figure it out, right? Like, I don't think I have a firm answer yet.
Okay, no, I can appreciate that. So then let's jump. Melissa, what are your top tips for keeping challengers engaged in challenge groups?
I think that's the funnest part. I think because people are joining for the health and fitness side of what we do, but they forget just, again, the community. So I try really hard to get them thinking outside of health and fitness. I'll do a pop-up question like, where would you want to go on vacation if you could hop on a plane tomorrow? Are you a cat or a dog lover? And if they say dog lover, I kick them out instantly. I'm just kidding. But not only does that because people love to talk about themselves. So maybe you could ask them to, what's a childhood experience that has shaped who you are today? Things like that, because people love to give their opinion and they love to talk about themselves. And not only that, but if I have a challenger in there that has a schnauzer and she finds out there's another challenger that has a schnauzer, they become best friends. And so maybe the first person that has a schnauzer becomes a coach. So the second person that has a schnauzer is like, oh my gosh, I should become a coach too, because I don't want to be left out. So that works really well.
Awesome. Love it. Love it. So Emily, what advice do you give coaches that are trying to restart their business after maybe disengaging for some period of time?
I always say, just go back to the vitals. I mean, that's what I do every single day. I don't do anything special. I just do the vital behaviors. And I say, go back to the vitals, start your program from scratch, like from day one, and then do the university again if you have to. But like, I don't want them to feel overwhelmed, because maybe that's why they backed off in the beginning. So just do those 4 vital behaviors every day.
Awesome. Mel, we got 2 more questions and we're done. Melanie, what is the difference with your business in the current environment? What do you do differently?
Oh, I have more time now than I did before. That's for sure. I really have had to readjust my working hours. So, Melinda and Bryce were gone all day. Now they're home. Now we have schoolwork. So it is a lot more early mornings. It is a lot more evenings. It's more like I'm MIA during the day because I'm doing a little bit of schoolwork. So I've just learned to adjust it. I didn't change my goals. I just readjusted the times of the day that I was going to get my goals done.
Awesome. Love it. Okay. Final question for each of you. And we'll end with this. What advice would you give the coaches that are watching this today? What would you tell them to go and do today? Emily, you're first.
Go do your program, how it's supposed to be followed, and share that journey every single day.
Melissa?
Amen to that, Emily, totally. And then also your job as a coach on your social media is nothing more than to solve a problem. What problems have you gone through that you've been able to overcome that you can help other people overcome as well?
Love it. Melanie?
Don't be a collector of information. So don't spend all of your time watching trainings and listening to videos and looking at what everybody else is doing and everybody else's YouTube trainings. Biggest piece of advice is just do. You will figure it out in the process of being a product of the product and taking action. You will figure it out.
Awesome. Love it. All right, coaches, you have heard from three of the best. And this is this is an awesome hour that you've just spent. And I agree. Go do something today to build your business and reach your goals. All right. Thanks, Kevin, for hosting us. And we'll turn it back to you.
All right, coaches, excellent job. Thank you so much for joining us. Have an awesome week. We will catch you on another training. Thanks, guys.